The Truth of Girls.
Hi everyone. So Joan Rivers recently died at the age of 81. Some people speculated that maybe she was murdered, maybe because she had made some remarks that Michelle Obama was a tranny. She said that she's a tranny and everybody knows it. But would that get her killed? Well, Joan Rivers, she talked a lot of shit. And there's really no proof provided that Michelle Obama was a tranny. So I don't really think that in and of itself would get you killed. Maybe Michelle Obama is a tranny. But the other rumor is that the Obama family, they're all clones of King Akhenaten and his wife and children. So does that mean that King Akhenaten's wife was a tranny? Okay, so what Joan Rivers actually died of was she died of cardiac arrest during an elective surgery, a throat surgery on the vocal cords. What kind of surgery was this? Well, they do things like remove polyps. The singer Adele had that done. But more likely, what Joan Rivers was undergoing is what is known as a voice lift. Because the vocal cords, as you age, they lose their elasticity. And they get more rigid, and eventually you end up with this kind of a grandma voice. And so probably what she was doing was having some fat or something injected into her vocal cords, or maybe some other kind of surgery to make her voice sound younger. That's the voice lift. But I think she knew that she could maybe die during the surgery, because the last conversation she had was with her daughter, Melissa Rivers, and she said, I could die. And she said, it's been a great life. She said, life is like one big movie, and, we've been so lucky to have this great life. But at the very end, she said, this business, you gotta look good. And so that kind of tells me that probably what she was doing was having a kind of plastic surgery because of the business that she was in. So here's the thing. Plastic surgery, I think, is taken too lightly. It carries some very real risks. There's the obvious ones like, you might die under anesthetic, or you might have an embolism, you might have infection. Yeah, you can get an embolism from having a liposuction. There was a very young woman who had it done under her chin and she died. Of course, that can happen from any kind of liposuction. So what this whole situation makes me think of is the fact that we have very different standards for women than we do for men. Women are expected to meet a certain beauty standard throughout their life, like a really unrealistic standard. They're expected to look young and girlish. It's valued very highly in a woman. It's like if you don't look a certain way, you're not up to par as a person. I know we think of ourselves as advanced when it comes to women and women's rights, but we're actually still quite limited and biased in how we perceive women and what we think they can do and what we think that they're good for. And here's an interesting article that really illustrates this. It's an article on trans people who transitioned from male to female or female to male and remained in the workplace pretty much in the same job, in the same capacity. And their reports of their experience of how they were treated when they were in one gender or the other. And what transpired is that there are biases. For example, when the person is at work as a man, he's told that people like his take charge attitude. However, when he then returns as a female, he's now considered aggressive, and the other way around. She was aggressive, now she's a man, now he's take charge. If the woman is a certain way, they'll just say she's bossy, whereas the man, they'll say, he has a lot of authority, he's in control. That women are perceived as bitches when they're being assertive. Oh, and when women get angry, they're perceived as being hysterical or overreacting. So you see there are biases in how women's behavior is perceived, and also in how they're expected to look. Look at George Norrie. I mean, he's going around with the gigantic mustache. I mean, that would be like the female equivalent of, I don't know, having a unibrow. But nobody seems to care. Actually, I think this may be something that is just innate, like inherent in people. Something like biological. Because, just to give you an example of a couple things. One, there was a study where they had a group of kindergartners have a lesson taught by a very homely looking female teacher and then a very beautiful female teacher. And then they were asked which teacher was more intelligent. Not beautiful, but intelligent. And they all said the beautiful teacher. And when asked why, they said, because she's beautiful. There have also been studies done on babies that show that they will look longer at a beautiful face than at a plain face. Oh, and there was another study also that showed that people will perceive someone with an oval face and large eyes as being more intelligent than someone with a more square-shaped face and smaller eyes. So is it our culture, or maybe it's just human nature? But in any case, I think that this is really what killed Joan Rivers. Maybe it was vanity, but you know, it's business, like she said. You kind of have to look good. And that's Hollywood, but it's not only in Hollywood that this goes on. Hey, I'm a woman, I should know. Joan Rivers knew that she had to look good or die trying, and she died trying. Well, that's what I think. Let me know what you think, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.